Welcome to Rise Up in Business, the law podcast for small business owners. This podcast is designed to share important legal information without the stuffy legal jargon. I'm Tracy Milacrane. Let's get into today's episode. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rise Up in Business podcast. Today's guest on the podcast is my very own long-time copywriter, Rennie from Frankly Right. Rach has been a part of my team for more than 3 years now, and it's safe to say that she's an integral part of my team in terms of copywriting, content and SEO work. Today, Rach and I are going to talk about the theme of words, the importance of words in your business, the right words in the right place at the right time. And we're going to dive in and have a conversation around the very topical subject at the moment of ChatGPT. Rach shares with us what she thinks ChatGPT's role can be for small business owners, and she shares with us her insights on whether or not copywriters and other service providers need to be worried. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Let's dive in. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rise Up in Business podcast. I'm so happy to have a guest join me today. You have heard me talk about this wonderful woman so often on here and over on Instagram where I am a lot, and that is Rennie from Frankly Right. Rach, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great and so happy to have you on the podcast again. For those who don't know, Rachel has been a part of my team for more than 3 years now, and I couldn't do what I do in my business without her. Rach is my copywriter and my SEO guru and my words guru and a whole bunch of other things. And I do have people reach out to ask me often, who does your stuff? How do you do all this? And so the secret, of course, is I don't do it all myself. I have a team. And Rach is a part of my team, so I'm so happy to have you here, Rach, to share some of your magic and word wisdom with my listeners, because I'm getting asked more and more about you and who does the things and this topic of words. I'm so happy to chat to you today.
I'm happy to chat to you. What a lovely intro. I'll listen to that every day.
It's so true, a hand on heart, and that's why I love having you on. We, as you know, and as people who have been listening to the podcast and reading all of the fabulous content over on the resources page on the website, know that we've been talking about words and the importance of words for the last little while on here and over there. And those who listen to me know that I'm all about empowering business owners. So I use the law as a tool to educate and empower. And when it comes to words, there's no shortcuts, and you can't underestimate just how important words are. So I wanted to talk to you today about words not in a legal context. So it's not legal.
No, not my expertise.
Not legal. So this is the thing. When I started talking on the podcast about words and the importance of words legally and why it is I do what I do in my drafting, lots of clients have said to me, gosh, I just didn't realise how important these particular words are in the legal documents, because they just knew that words were really important in their branding and in their copy and in their journey and their client journey in their businesses. That's where you come in.
Obviously, words can be incredibly empowering on the branding and marketing side as well. So the two will always go hand in hand. And that's why, when we look at the work that you do, when you're putting that legalese into your documents, you're not putting legalese in. And so we're the same when it comes to marketing. We're about using words that feel right and feel genuine and are easy to read and enjoyable to read as well.
Why is that important?
When it comes to, writing your own words and writing your own copy, I think that a lot of people are scared to put themselves out there in their business in a way that is also making them sales. People want to use their words to make a connection and to build a community, and all of that is really, really good. But words are also there to make sales, and you can use genuine words that feel good to also make your sales in marketing. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
I love that you said that about sales, because I know I've had these conversations with you earlier on in my journey. Clients say it to me, I don't want to sell. I don't want to feel salesy. I don't want my website and my copy to feel like I'm pushing on people. I'm here to say, Words can help you not feel salesy. It doesn't have to be like that. What do you say about that, Rach?
Oh, 100%. We live in a patriarchy, okay? That's my base. So when it comes to business and sales, it's traditionally seen as a really masculine thing to do. In that pushy, like, I'm going to sell to you, I'm going to push, and this is all about sales. And I think if you are more femininely inclined, not in a traditional gender sense, but just that kind of feminine energy, then to try and make sales and absorb that masculinity and kind of go ahead and be real brash and do it, it can feel really yuck. And people don't like doing it. And that's where we come in, because we like to use words that feel good for you, whatever your energy is, wherever it sits on that spectrum, and you can still make sales out of it. But you feel good when you're doing it. You're not feeling like you're, I don't know, Jim, the CEO of something. You feel like you, and you're still going to make money from it as well.
It sounds magic. It sounds like a little sprinkling of magic when you say it like that. You make it sound so easy.
Wow. If it was easy, I wouldn't have a job. But there are tools and techniques that you can do when you're writing your words from a marketing point of view that you can adapt to yourself, and you can kind of just have in your back pocket that make it easy to do that as well. So that you're still thinking, okay, I'm here for a reason. I'm marketing my business because I want to make sales. So there's all these different tools you can have that you can pull out in various stages of the customer journey to make sure that you're doing it in a way that feels authentic as well.
A lot of the small business owners that I'm working with often make comments to me that they just didn't appreciate the significance of the words that I use legally. And then when we dive deeper, the words in relation to their business positioning more generally. And so that's why I wanted to bring you on. And this is really valuable, because what you're doing is you're explaining to business owners what it is that they need clarity around right at the beginning, so that they can bring the customer along on the journey to build the trust so that they can buy. Because ultimately that's all we want to do. And the takeaway is that the right words in the right place at the right time is super important in making those conversions.
It is. And do you know the way to start knowing what your customer journey is? The number one thing that we see all the time is not knowing who your customer actually is. Who are you actually selling to? It's people love to talk about themselves. It's fine. We're human. That's what we do. But you can't do that in business all the time. And when you do it in your marketing, it has to be really strategic. So if you're not looking at who your audience actually is, you can't build out an effective customer journey. If you're doing it from your viewpoint, it's not going to work. You have to do it from your audience's viewpoint.
Wow, that's a key takeaway from this. The next logical question, Rach, is when we're talking about this and we're talking about authenticity and we're talking about our brand and we're talking about our ideal customer and that customer journey, where does ChatGPT come into this as far as you're concerned? Because this topic is everywhere at the moment. Every place I turn, someone's talking about ChatGPT. I don't have a view on it yet, but do you?
I do love it as a tool, but that's all it is. It's a tool that you can have in your back pocket. It's not going to put your spin as a professional in your industry on a topic. And it's not going to have any strategy behind it. So you could use it until the cows come home to write blogs, sure. But one, they're going to be lacking your expertise. They're going to be lacking your experience and your thoughts on things, because you're a human with original thought. Your audience wants to hear that.
And I imagine also there's going to be gaping holes when it comes to your brand voice as well.
Oh, it's not going to have anything. So you can train it. So I've used it and, we've experimented with it on quite a probably bigger basis than a lot of people. And you can train it as you go through the conversation. So, you can say, write about this, and you can say, can you be more colloquial? You can even say, use the tone on this website, XYZ, and rewrite what you've just written me with this tone. And you can keep training it and keep trying to refine it. But by the time you refine it to that point, you could have written that article better 1,000,000 times over. It just never really gets there. It never has a human touch. It never flows perfectly. Frankly, right, it refuses to swear and it refuses to talk about cults. So our whole marketing strategy, a big chunk of it gets thrown out the window. but it's missing nuance, and it'll pick funny things out of a website as tone because it's not a human. It just doesn't recognize how humans interact with words and with copy. So it's a great tool. Like, use it. Great. I use it. All my marketing friends and copywriter friends use it, but it's like Google. It gathers information.
I like that. You've actually now talking my language, because I did find it a bit confusing at the start. It's like Google. So it's a tool to use if you're gathering information, if you want to put a rough draft together of a blog that you might be working on, or if you want to repurpose content. I understand that it can be used for that, but on a really raw level from what you're saying. So it's a raw level, and it's not going to have those nuances, that personality, that brand voice, or anything like that, which you need if you want to be up-leveling in your business and focusing on that client journey that we've talked about.
Yeah, exactly. Specifically with that customer journey, you could input a blog that you wrote with all your humanness, and you could say, break this up into Instagram posts for me. Is it going to do it? Yes. But talking about that placement, it's going to break your text up into posts. But talking about that placement and writing the right way for the right platform, you're going to get a snippet you can put on Instagram, but it's not going to pull the customer in the right way on Instagram because it doesn't know how to write specifically for platforms.
That's helpful. It's a tool. Let's take the takeaway. It is a tool, and it's not going to give us the magic that we need to create what we want to create when we're up-leveling our business and using the right words in the right place at the right time. Love it, Rach. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I think we've covered exactly what I wanted to cover in this episode so that my audience, again, get to hear from you and the pure genius value that you add to my business. We've talked about ChatGPT, which I've been dying to do. So thank you. I think that's really valuable. Can you just share with listeners, if they want to reach out to you and check out more about the work that you do at Frankly Right, where can we find you?
So our website is franklyright.co.nz, but also we're very active on Instagram and we love voice messages. So you can just find us on Instagram, which is frankly.right. Send us a voice memo, slide into our DM.
Thanks, Rach. We'll put those details in the show notes as well so everyone can find you. As always, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Rise Up in Business podcast. I hope you have found this to be of value, and I'll catch you next time.